Welcome back, everybody. Along with Joy Taylor, I'm Colin Cowherd, and this is Herd for the Holidays. Well, the NBA season is beginning in earnest. I bring on my friend. He's covered the NBA from the New York Times to the Akron Journal. My friend Chris Broussard, now at Fox Sports, NBA reporter, is joining us. Chris, let's start with this. I was surprised the Lakers won a championship. I was surprised the Clippers' chemistry unraveled the franchise. With the acquisitions, do you feel like the Lakers are a favorite to win the championship or an overwhelming favorite?
Man, they're a heavy favorite, Colin. There's no question about it. On paper, they look like the best team because I think they're going to be better than they were last year. As long as LeBron's decline, which is inevitable, doesn't go too far this year, they'll be better than they were last year because Anthony Davis is going to be a better player. Now that he's got the confidence to know that he can get it done at the highest level and play in those pressurized situations, he's going to be much better. They added Dennis Schroeder, who is a legitimate 20-point scorer. LeBron can be on the ball or off the ball with Schroeder. Marc Gasol is a smart player, high basketball IQ. Obviously, Montrezl Harrell, their bench is better. And now you got this guy, Talen Horton-Tucker, that everybody's in love with, THT. The Lakers are better. Now, I think the Clippers will be better too, but on paper, the Lakers have to be the heavy favorite.
Out east, an equally star-studded team is Kevin Durant and Kylie Irving. They've had more injuries than LeBron. Both can be a tad prickly, especially Kyrie sometimes with the media. LeBron and AD's chemistry was a hit the first week. Do you think KD and Kyrie's chemistry will be as good as the guys out west?
No, it won't be as good as LeBron and AD's was. There's no question about it because LeBron is like a big brother to AD, whereas KD and Kyrie, even though KD is a little older, they're pretty much at the similar points of their career. So it's more like two brothers versus a big brother and a little brother. I was encouraged recently, though, when they went on Instagram and Kyrie was talking about he wants 8 post-ups a game. And Kevin Durant said, essentially, slow down, young fella. We agreed to 2.5. And the half is me throwing it into you and then you throwing it right back to me. So that showed you that Kevin Durant will step up and tell Kyrie, nah, that's not what's best for the team right now. So if Durant can do that the entire season, which I don't think he did much with Russell Westbrook in Oklahoma City, but if he's matured to the point where he'll do that with Kyrie and kind of keep Kyrie in check a little bit, then I do think they can be the best team in the Eastern Conference.
The bubble was a unique experience and uniquely helped young rosters. In fact, the Lakers were the only veteran roster that seemed to elevate from beyond the regular season. Do you think the Heat will repeat, or it was an outlier where Jimmy Butler, no second star, and young kids can get to the final again?
Complete outlier. I learned this word from Nick Wright. I'm going to use it. I love using it. I would be gobsmacked if the Heat got back to the finals. I mean, there's no way. I'm sorry. I like Brooklyn better. I like Philadelphia better. I like Milwaukee better, even though obviously Miami had their number last year. I like Boston better. So to me, Miami is like the fifth best team in the East once again. So if they were able to get to the finals with this roster, that would truly be amazing. And I'm going to be honest, I don't want it to happen because they're no match for the Lakers or whoever wins the West. So I think that was a one-time thing. Jimmy Butler may have enjoyed the bubble more than any other player with his coffee and all of that stuff. So I don't think that's happening again.
Listen, there's 2 or 3 players that jump out to me as faces of the league. Let's start with Zion. Where do you stand with him and his future today?
Well, obviously the concern is his health, but, so far so good. But if he stays healthy, I think he's going to be 26 points and 10 rebounds this year. Defensively, people will talk about he's not as good there, but he'll get better at that. Most young players aren't very good defensively. He's got a point guard that loves to pass in Lonzo Ball. And I think around him, they understand he's the guy. Brandon Ingram's another player that draws attention. So you can't just focus on Zion. So I think Zion Williamson, if healthy, will definitely be one of the future faces of the NBA.
Mark Cuban got his next Dirk Nowitzki, landing Luka Doncic, a remarkable high-scoring player who was playing well against European competition when he was 16. He has come over. He is a beast. He is very hard to defend. He is physical. He can put it on the deck. He can pull up. What is his ceiling?
Man, well, look, with all due respect to Dirk Nowitzki, he's going to be better than Dirk Nowitzki. I think he's the new age version of Larry Bird. And I think he can be. Larry Bird was at times the best player in the world for a stretch of years, or here a year, there a year. Luka can be that. I call him Luka Legend. And so he can win MVPs. Now, where he ranks historically is all going to be about how many championships he can win. And he showed last year, it's early, but he showed that he can play in the playoffs. He can play against a team with more talent and make it competitive. This dude is phenomenal. I love him. If there's another player you had to pick who's going to be the next guy to average a triple-double for a season, Colin, it would be Luka Doncic. Sky is really the limit. It depends on how much he can win. This is a guy you could talk about maybe one day being a top 10 player of all time.
The biggest disappointment, in my opinion, in the bubble was the Los Angeles Clippers. And there were rumors that chemistry wasn't great. And then when it unraveled, it all came out in the press that Kawhi Leonard and mostly Paul George, who had struggled in his career and with the Clippers in the postseason, had really been divas. They'd asked for too much special treatment. Can you solve that? Did it end forever? Load management? How does it land for you going forward with the Clippers, always the second team in Los Angeles?
Well, it should end the extreme load management that Kawhi Leonard's been practicing, where he misses 22 games a year just because. That's got to end. Now, nobody expects him to play 82 games. Maybe only play 70 games or 72 games. But the 60-game seasons need to end for their chemistry and for the betterment of that team. Now, their chemistry can improve. They brought in Serge Ibaka. He's a friend with Kawhi. He brings out, supposedly, the fun guy in Kawhi. I think that'll endear Kawhi and bring him closer together with the rest of his teammates because Serge is a very good locker room guy. The problem with the Clippers, Colin, is there's no leader on that team. Kawhi Leonard, as great as he is not a leader. He wasn't the leader in San Antonio. Even when he may have emerged as the best player, he wasn't the leader in Toronto when they won the championship, even though he was the best player. And he wasn't a leader last year. And I don't know that he can grow into that. So last year, Montrezl Harrell was a problem in the locker room. There was no leader to kind of calm the waters. Whereas Montrezl won't be a problem with the Lakers because LeBron can keep things in control. The last thing about that, too, Colin, Kawhi Leonard is now facing the expectations of being this great player who leads teams to championships. Again, he's never dealt with that. Yeah. In San Antonio, it was Tim Duncan's team when Kawhi won his championship. All he had to do was go out and play. In Toronto, he was there one season. Nobody expected him to win a championship. They were underdogs in many of their series, including Golden State, and he was able to play great. But last year, when they were favored and there were expectations, for the first time, we saw him struggle under the pressure of the playoffs. So what will he do now that everybody's looking at him and expecting him to win championships? That's a big question.
Chris Broussard, Fox Sports NBA analyst. I thought when LeBron James moved to Los Angeles, the GOAT argument with MJ was over. They won in his second year in dominating fashion with AD. LeBron now has championships, 2 in Miami, 1 in Cleveland.